Hi, Brittany. I'm so excited to have you on the Undone podcast today. Welcome.
Thanks, Ashley. Happy to be here.
I am so excited. We met during a panel. I was moderating. You were on giving out some amazing advice about financials and how we can better prepare ourselves as women and as entrepreneurs and small business owners. And I was like, okay, I need to have her on the Undone podcast so she can teach me and the viewers how we can better prepare ourselves with our finances. So I'm super excited to have you on today.
I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, you and I hit it off on that panel, and it was so exciting just to like always extend relationships after these things we do all the time in work.
Definitely. I think that that's like the important part of it, right? Is that we extend those relationships. Let me introduce you guys to this fabulous, amazing, badass woman, Brittany Castro, who I refer to as Brit. So you'll hear me say Brit after we get through all of this stuff. Is the founder and CEO of Financially Wise Inc., a Los Angeles based financial education and media company whose mission is to teach individuals and couples the art of managing their finances in a thoughtful and proactive way. Brittany is a certified financial planner, chartered retirement planning counselor, accredited asset management specialist, entrepreneur, highly sought after speaker, and consultant. Brittany is a noted financial expert and a go to resource for national media outlets and platforms including CNN, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Times, CBS, KTLA, Good Day LA, Fox 11 News, Glamour, Elle, Marie Claire, Refinery, Financial Planning, Investment News, Registered Rep Magazine, and many, many more. Brittany was elected one of the 40 under 40 in 2020 by Investment News and one of the 22 women to watch in 2018 by Investment News and was ranked on Investopedia's top influential financial advisors list in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Additionally, Brittany serves as the in-house CFP for Mint, and as well, she is the head of education for All Trust. Did I pronounce that right, Britt?
Altruist, yeah.
Altruist. Okay. Both roles where she can continue her efforts of spreading financial literacy to the masses through media, interviews, video content, and social media campaigns. Away from the office, you can find Brittany meditating, traveling, exploring, and of course, dancing, and of course, looking beautiful. You guys, help me welcome Brittany Castro to the Undone podcast. Yay! Brittany, that intro, honey. Woo!
I know. I feel bad that you had to read all that.
No, it's so good. I mean, I'm like, okay, this girl. Before we dive in, I want to discuss your four-part investment masterclass. Classes are being held on Tuesdays and start on April 6th. Talk to us a little bit about this class. And you also have a money class, which is a six-module online home study course where you teach personal finance and money management. Talk about this before we get started because I think that these classes are so important. I was like, I need to join the classes. Like, where I need to sign up. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you asked. So the investing masterclass, they're live Zoom classes. I started this, this will be my third round teaching a live class. And I started it this year because I realized a lot of people still needed help with their investing. And especially I feel like in this year, there's just so much going on with the stock market and like news and trends and herd mentality. And I felt like a lot of people were excited about investing, but not fully understanding like the big game and the big picture. So I wanted to bring that like foundation education to the excitement of like people jumping in, wanting to invest more, wanting to get on the action and remind them that's great. Let's like definitely have that excitement, but let's also learn how do we do this
Right.
strategically and wisely for the long haul, right? And not just like kind of like follow the herds and invest blindly in things. So that 4-part live Zoom class is really fun. It's intimate enough where people ask are like, all their questions. It's safe. I'm a big like educator in the sense of like ask all the questions you really are brave enough to ask, because not only does it help you, but it helps everybody in the class. And honestly, I've been a CFP for 15 years. There's no dumb question. And the most financially successful people are the ones who just constantly ask a lot of questions,
Right.
like always learning, always asking. They're never like, I got it all figured out. So the more you just get in that practice of asking, like, what is it that I need to know, and learning from other people's questions. So we have a lot of fun. It's very focused on like investing in the stock market, what that means, what type of accounts do you invest in, what does that mean for taxes, like how do you set up your account, how do you look at the big picture. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because how could we not? And I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but again, you have to be strategic and smart about it. So this is a very fun class. It's a 4-part. You get recordings, so if you can't make it live, don't worry, you can watch the recordings at any time. And then the other one, the money class that you talked about, is more of a do-it-yourself at home.
Mm-hmm.
By that, it's more broad. So it's not just investing, it's budgeting, it's mindset, it's saving, it's insurance, taxes, investing as well. But it's kind of like the bigger financial plan picture. So that is module-based, webinar-based. I teach it. You get worksheets and activities to do. So try to make it interactive for the student going through this course. But really, I describe it as like the course we all needed, but no one
Right.
obviously gets it.
That's what I thought when I saw. I was like, okay, this is what I need.
Yeah, like we all didn't get this growing up, right? So I think it's like foundational. So I always like to say you kind of need both. Money class is going to give you all the foundation of your financial life, but the investing is always the sexy topic that everyone wants to jump right into.
Right.
Which is fine. And I think it's smart, but just learn, and keep learning about it.
Definitely. Do you offer one-on-one classes? Because I look at your lives on Instagram too. Those are really helpful. Also, you go live with different people and talk about different topics relating to money and finances. Do you do one-on-one courses?
Good question. So I used to be a practicing financial planner for 15 years. Last year, I transitioned out of meeting one-on-one with clients, and now I have a partner, Amy, and her team at Rooted Planning. So if you come to my website and book a call to discuss one-on-one financial planning, you'll still go and work with my team of CFPs, but I'm just not the one in those meetings anymore. As an entrepreneur, I finally got to the level where both sides of my business, like the online, the speaking, the media, and the individual clients. I was running those two aspects of my company for like 7 years, and then last year I was able to just finally focus on the front media, marketing, educational courses, and refer all the clients to Amy and my team of CFPs, who are amazing. So yeah, you can go to the website Financially Wise Inc. if you're interested in one-on-one, because I think it is important, and check out those services too.
And definitely. Okay, I have so many things, so I'm ready to dive in. Today, you guys, if you haven't noticed, we're talking about all things money. Because we want to be where the money resides, right? In 2021 and beyond, we want to be where the money resides. And let's face it, this year, 2020 rather, we were dealt, a mighty blow, right? The economy, our health, everything was pretty much affected. And Brittany, that's why I'm so happy that you're here, because this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about for so long. And I remember on the panel, we didn't get into it, but I can't remember how it went, but the topic came up about relearning money because of, like you said, the foundation of finances wasn't really set. Like I didn't learn about finances in school growing up, right? Or even college, really. We really didn't discuss like how to manage your finances or how to do this. Your mom got you a debit card maybe and said, okay, I'm gonna manage this for you, and then you go out to college and then you're on your own, right? So I feel like my generation, I'm 37, and I feel like a lot of us weren't taught like the importance of credit and how to, balance and budget. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about you, because I just feel like your story is so fantastic and so amazing. And like you just said, you're able to now, your business has grown in a way where you're just able now to focus on the media aspect. And I want to know from you, you've made it your mission to help women cultivate these healthy relationships with the money. What informed your decision, Britt, to take on this role and this career path?
Yeah. So kind of probably like all entrepreneurs, you stumble into it. So I graduated with a degree with business economics in college. And I always knew from a young age, like I always had this idea I wanted to be a business owner. I thought I wanted to own a restaurant because I love people. I loved a social element. And then I was looking at like event planning as a career, worked with an event planner at school, worked like these amazing events. And I realized, no, I want to attend the events. I don't want to work. I don't want that to be my job. So
Right.
honestly, I got a job offer as a financial advisor, and I went to my career counselor. And I was like, what's a financial advisor? And she goes, well, I think you might like it. It's finances. You're helping people, and you're going to have like flexibility to kind of run your own schedule, and kind of like the way that a lot of financial jobs are. It's like you have unlimited income potential. So it's like, great, I could help people have freedom to like run my own calendar and make a lot of money. These all are things I want. So I just took the job, and I was 22, woman in finance,
Wow.
hustling. Actually, it's funny, like back then I used to pretend, not pretend, but I wanted to present myself as older and more serious so people take me. I'm sure you can relate to this, right?
Girl,
So I would never wear like girly things. I would put my hair so tight in a bun. I would wear like black. Just so I could like be professional or something. And then like as you grow and you learn, you're like, this is not even me. Like I'm bubbly. How come I can't just be me and still do this career? I didn't understand. So I was getting the success at this company, but I didn't really feel like this was a sustainable long-term solution. So I left at 26. I got my CFP designation, and I went to this independent firm. So when you go to an independent firm, you just have less like corporate,
mm.
model structure, but more is like your responsibility. So it's kind of was like a stepping stone into like a full blown my own company. Because when you have a financial company, I mean, any company is hard to have, but when you have a financial company, you have like registration, like state compliance. There's a lot of like regulatory things you need to do that's overwhelming in the beginning. So I went to this independent company, branded myself as the financial advisor for women, started like a YouTube channel in 2010. I was like, I want to, I'm not like a beauty expert, but I want to talk about finance in a way that was fun. And like, I would just see all these beauty bloggers and they look like they're having so much fun. And I was like, what if I could do something like that, but for money? So I kind of just went with that mindset. And after a few years at that company, I took the next leap of faith. There was no like magic carpet rolled out. I just went for it. And I started this company, which is now 8 years old. So
Wow.
it was actually after like I ended a relationship, and I was like, hey man, if I'm going to do it, I better do it now. It was just like those times in your life where you're like all in.
Right. All in or nothing.
And
Um,
yeah.
that's amazing. So, Britt, let me ask you, what struggles or what hurdles, right? You're 22, you're 26 when you leave the company and then head to the next one. What hurdles did you face in that journey? And then in starting your own, right? What were the hurdles that you faced and what did you learn from those hurdles?
So many. I mean, I'm just like honest. I'm not an entrepreneur that's like, I had it all figured out.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
yeah, and also though, I'll tell you, I was a little bit in I thought because I knew like financial planning, like I would be able to figure out a business and like be immune. Somehow I thought I would be immune to like business challenges. I was like, no, I have the plan. I know the numbers. I know all the things. But when it's just part of it, when you're a business owner, it's part like no matter how smart you are, you're not immune to like cash flow issues or like hiring the wrong person or like having the person and then you got to fire them and like all those uncomfortable conversations. And then I mean, so I've had so many hurdles, whether it was just like cash flow in the beginning, feeling like just overwhelmed with all the moving parts of starting a company, marketing it, doing the actual work, legally setting it all up, taxes, to having those uncomfortable conversations with either people who needed to pay me or like
Oh, girl.
employees who didn't work out. I mean, I still have to have those uncomfortable conversations with like vendors. I'm like, so sometimes it's like I think we just get better at it. Like with experience, you get better. So it's not like the challenges go away. They just don't trigger you. So like even this week, it was like, okay, here we are again, same things. But I'm not like, before it would take me out. Like I'd be like, oh my God. Now I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? This is just part of the job. You know, if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to be a business owner, this is what you have to do. And it's my choice to work this way. I could go get a job. So how can I, like, now I'm always like, how can I do it in a different way? Like
Right.
another creative solution to maybe the same problem,
Right.
take that emotion out of it and just deal with it. But like life, we're constantly having to respond to life, and it's best to respond and not react. So even though sometimes I don't want to do things, you still have to.
Right. Right. As adults, called adulting too, right?
Adulting. So I mean, I don't know. Every challenge I'm sure I faced, you know.
Oh, and then, so I can relate. So a lot of people, I don't know if people know, but I started my own styling company. Like I was a stylist like years ago, and I quit my job in corporate America to, start the styling firm. And it was gonna, as long as I made this amount, that I was making at my job, I was gonna be fine. So I had this plan, and girl, the plan just didn't work. I mean, like nothing the work. I mean, eventually things began to pick up, but it was such a struggle. And like you said, like finding another creative way, like how you talked about the vendors and still having to have those conversations about payment. But now it's not like you said, it would take you out, girl. I would be like, I don't know what I'm not going to even say that. I mean, it would just be like how to charge. There were so many moving pieces, and I didn't have a team. It was just me by myself trying to navigate. And then I eventually, got interns. But that experience was daunting at best, but it taught me so much, right? About it gave me strength, it taught me courage, it taught me how to speak up for myself and how to advocate for myself. And I want to know from you, I'm sure you had failure in your, like you talked about your hurdles. Did you use that to like propel you, to be able to then be able to go into these rooms and go into these meetings and go and speak in front of these people because you had been able to overcome those struggles that you thought once were, that took you out, but then you used it and said, okay, I'm going to learn from this. Did failure help you at all? Is what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what you shared because it's like we learn resilience, we learn it's not personal, we learn just okay, go back in and be persistent.
Right.
I mean, look, I can complain every day about how people don't do their job. I mean, but like and I'm just talking about like everything, right? That we have to do as an adult. Sometimes you get on the phone just to handle some like personal whatever, car maintenance, whatever it is. And you're like, people just don't want to work. But you learn how to like build or for me, I've learned a lot about building a rapport and relationship
Mm-hmm.
with the people I'm connecting to. And I have seen the difference because I have overcome a lot. And I think it's actually a good muscle, even to relate back to women and money, like financially.
Mm-hmm.
Owning a business has taught me a lot about how to, like you said, be an advocate for myself. Like before, even though I was in the financial world, when I would have to call financial institutions like a bank to get what I wanted, I would be like,
A panic attack. A
yeah,
full-on anxiety.
my fire, my spice, I would be like angry and yelling. And obviously you can do it that way, but it's not really healthy. And now I see how like I'm a lot more patient. Like, okay, like for example, if I'm talking to you and I
My
maybe
light went out. Hold on, Britt.
yeah,
Hold
no
on.
problem.
This is live. I'm probably not going to edit this out either. Okay. Things happen. Okay.
This is part of it.
This is all a part of it. There we are.
There you
Okay.
are. There you are. Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say like for example, let's say you're a vendor, someone I need to just get something from, and you'll tell me no, and I'll say, all right, Ashley, I understand, but how can we solve this problem? Like, here's what I'm trying to do. So help me understand what needs to happen for us to like figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
To me, like a no answer, I don't like it because no, like no, that like, people will tell you no all the time with like things you need done, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's very important for women in the financial world is to like really go get what they need. And not like in a bitch way, but like, how can we work together to get this solution?
Right.
Do I need to talk to someone else on your team? Is there another process we need to do? Like, what is it? So I almost just kind of take this leadership role now with everything in my life. Like, okay, here's what I want to happen. So what do we need to do to make it happen? Like,
Right.
what are the obstacles? And when I come at it from that place, it's a lot, the person on the receiving end is a lot more willing to like, okay, well, let's work on this, right?
Right.
Versus like their standard answer, default answer of like, no, it can't be done.
Right. I love that. I love that. Britt, what advice would you give to our viewers wanting to become a financial planner and wanting to, take the route that you took? What advice would you share with them on where to even start with that?
Yeah, it is harder. I would say it's harder just because a lot of financial firms don't hire out of college like they used to, because there's a lot of money to train someone and get them up and running. But I would say if you want to become a financial planner, find a firm. I would go to an RIA firm, like a registered investment advisor firm. So that's different than like a broker dealer. Broker dealers are kind of like the ones we know that have a lot more corporate structure and like proprietary products. RIAs tend to be a little bit more like a business, right? Like someone started this business. That's what I had for many years. They're working with clients in their own way, like their own service model. There's not a lot of proprietary usually, so they can get you products and services that are not limited. So I
Right.
would say look for any RIA firm that you feel like you can get your experience with, and you're going to have to get experience. Like there's no way around it. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to be an entrepreneur from day one and start your firm from day one. I mean, you could do that, but I would say it's going to be difficult if you don't have a structure or you don't have experience of even working with clients and know how these models work. So maybe work at a company for a little bit that's more boutique, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not the ideal job, and then then launch your own firm. But I think like launching your own firm from day one, it can be done. It's probably easier than ever before, but it's still hard, meaning you still really need to understand how this industry works.
Right. That's really good. Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's talk about the relearning money part of this because, like I told you at the beginning, a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of the viewers can relate, we just weren't educated on what to do and what not to do when it comes to our finances, period, right? And I want to know from you what are some practical practices and tools that we can start implementing now, like today. When people hear this, they can start implementing them and that can prepare us or better educate us on how we can have a healthy relationship with our money.
Absolutely. So today I would say take an assessment of your net worth. So what do you own in assets, meaning what's in your bank account, what's in your investment account, if you own a home or any property. And then take an assessment of your liabilities, credit card debt, student debt, whatever, personal loan debt, whatever it might be,
Mm-hmm.
and assess. No matter if it's negative, okay, who cares? If you're like starting in only debt and no assets, that's okay. But the idea is just to get aware of like, where are you right now? Like what's going on? This is kind of like what I call people's financial report card, not to make you feel bad, not to make you feel overwhelmed, but just to be clear and honest. Okay, here's where I'm starting. Here's how much I have in assets. Here's how much I have in liabilities. Okay, cool. Then I would say kind of figure out what is your budget or cash flow. Like, what are we working with every month? What is coming in every month? As a business owner, this is a little bit more complex, but you still need to know like, where's your money coming from and where does it go every month? What are you spending this money on? And get very clear. Look at everything. And that's going to give you like a framework to say, okay, maybe I could cut back on certain expenses. My dog is running in.
Hi, Doggy. What kind of dog is it?
And maybe I could cut back on these certain expenses, or it seems like if I made another $1,000 per month, everything would work better. So then you'll get a gauge, like how much more money do you need to make it all work better?
Right.
I like to focus on that part, like income. So net worth, your budget or cash flow, and then look at what are the goals for this year. I know
Mm,
we have lifetime goals. I know we all want to, do all these things,
right.
but I think it's overwhelming, right? So then you look and kind of say, what are the top 2 or 3 priorities for 2021? If I focused on maybe I need to build my cash cushion, just some emergency money up. So how much do I want? How much can I redirect from my budget every month as an automatic savings into some cash account to do that?
Right.
Yeah, I need to focus on debt reduction this year and pay down some debt. So, how do I do that? What's the debt game plan? Am I going to add a few $100s more per month? Maybe I need to start investing in my retirement account. Okay, what does that look like? So, really, just 2 to 3
Mm-hmm.
their main focus. Not to say you don't have other goals, but again, we want to have a priority of what's most important based on your net worth and your budget and what's going on in your life. So that's really important. And then I think like the next place is just to kind of create that plan and then review against it every month at least. Because you and I both know we have a plan, but life doesn't go to our plan.
It does not.
So it's good to have a strategy. It's good to have a plan. And then you got to review against it and pivot and adjust. Okay, great. Did I start these systems that I talked about? What else do I need to do? And I like to have what I call money dates. So I do them weekly. 1 hour at least every week, I have a date with my money. It's in my calendar. And that's the time that I look at my personal budget. I look at my business, budget, which is a P&L. I
Mm-hmm.
forecast what's going on in the next few weeks. Like, what do I need? Maybe like random calls I need to make to like financially, like insurance or whatever, taxes. And then also I just kind of review against my budget. What was I spending against my budget?
Right.
So this is really a time for me just to get aware and clear and kind of reset and like, okay, great. And what I like to focus on in these dates is feel gratitude. If I feel like the emotion of stress or anxiety or overwhelmed, then say, okay, what can I do right now? Let's just, maybe it's just, you just need to like, I don't know, make the phone call or, pay the bill and you'll feel better. So it's like all these little steps that are actually what add up to the major goals.
Mm,
Have the weekly money date. It's just a chance to check in with your money, like any relationship. If you want to
right.
build
I love that.
Yeah, so the money dates are really key because then you kind of see it's just progress. Like week after week, you're just like, what do I need to take care of? Feel good about that. Next week, I'll have a whole new list, whole new probably challenges.
Right.
Kind of brings it back to like the moment. Like, so you have these goals, but you're also like living more like, okay, what can I do right now to make it feel like I'm having an action or a response to
Right.
my money.
I
Mhm.
think that that's attainable. That's really good. I like the money date. Britt, I want to talk a little bit about, because I know you said something about like how do we get past the stigma of shame when it comes to dealing with our money, right? Because people will hear this and say, well, okay, I only have $100 in the bank. How in the world am I going to do? What am I going to have a money date with? Because what I have in the bank versus the bills that I have, it's not equaling up, and then there's this shame attached to it. Can you speak a little bit about getting past that shame to, focus on what it is that you need to do to get to the place that you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a therapist, but I've been in the I mean, I was just
Is this above your is
yeah,
this above your expertise, Britt?
yeah, no, I mean, I always say that just because it's like I'm not a therapist, but I've been around for a long time and
Right.
so shame, look, I think it's a little bit more prevalent in with women because we have
Mm,
some sort of like weird self-worth guilt thing with money. And I think it's just like history of women and money. Like, you know, even not too long ago, we weren't even able to get a loan without a man. So it's like, I think it's just like societal, historical stuff.
hmm.
But I would say if you have that, one, I feel like shame or guilt usually comes from like a lack of clarity or awareness. So
Right.
doing the money dates actually can help, even if they're uncomfortable in the beginning, because it's kind of just like switching the game and saying, actually, I'm committed to investing time and energy into my financial life. So even if it's not pretty or even if it doesn't feel exciting, I feel like I'm still committed to working on the relationship. So shame, I feel like often comes when we're avoiding or just like living in our head too much because like I feel shame that I have credit or I have credit debt or I feel shame that I don't have enough money. Well, it's like, well, look at all the other things. Maybe there was a real life situation that you got in this, like maybe there was medical emergencies or family emergency, like, so don't like condemn yourself because I just think that keeps in the vicious cycle and
Right.
people will tend to stay in a victim versus like, okay, well, what if I just look past and say, well, what can I do now, right? To get out of that victim mindset and say, you know what, I am the cause of my life. So meaning I can create it differently, even if it feels kind of impossible right now. If I do a few things, this is the momentum. This is how it happens. So you're not alone. I mean, whoever, might be experiencing shame or anxiety or stuff like that, you're not alone. Even people with money, by the way.
Thank you for saying that, Britt, because people will say, oh, well, I'm only feeling shame because I don't have, but like you said, people with, thank you for can you speak to that a little bit more? That's really
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I've worked with clients who have all the money they ever need and they still don't feel like, I don't know, they're still not like this wealthy, abundant mindset with it. They're either living in fear around it, meaning they're afraid it's all going to go away, or they're stressed and overwhelmed at all the things they need to do to manage it. I've even met people who have a lot of money and are still like really tight with money, meaning they're like, like that hoarding fear mentality
Right,
instead of like open, enjoy, let the money come, let it go.
right,
You can have it, but you don't need to be like,
right.
So actually the dollar amount has nothing to do with the emotion, but if you really learn how to deal with the emotion and just feel them, witness them, but not attach too much to them, they pass. Like, and you'll see it's not like all of a sudden if you get $1 million in the bank, you're all of a sudden like these things go away. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's the fantasy we can all lose ourselves. Well, when I have 1 million, when I'm a billionaire, when I blah blah blah,
Right.
that's gone. Or but the reality is no, because you'll probably just be wherever you are at that point, and there's going to be new things that are happening that will cause emotional reaction in you, and the emotional reaction could still be this shame or guilt or anxiety, that you're feeling now. So being broke or whatever, having little money, I think, I don't want to sound like airy fairy, but like honestly, oftentimes like you're not going to die. Like you don't die if you're broke. Like, so a lot of our fears around what will happen, like, are
Mhm.
not really true.
Right. Projecting. And I guess I wonder where that even comes from. Britt, you said you're no therapist, but honey, I just felt like we were on the couch and I felt free of some things with that. That was really good. A lot there that I'm taking in just as I think about it. So stimulus checks. I'm sure you get this question, or you've gotten, questions around this. The latest round of stimulus checks are being sent out. Many people have no clue what they will do with the money. They're like, okay, $1,400 or whatever amount they're getting. People are, either spending it irresponsibly or spending it on, their needs and their essentials. I want to find out from you, the expert, what should people be doing with this money? What are the three most important things that people should do when they get this stimulus check in their accounts? What should they do?
Actually, very intuitive because I actually say break it into threes.
Mm,
So this is good advice for any like windfall of money. Not that a stimulus check is a windfall, but it's like money, like extra money per se,
right,
right?
right.
Like, you didn't have to like go get to a job and get it. It's coming from this place.
Mm-hmm.
So inheritance or anything like that. So I say break it into three. Take a third and pay off bills or debts or whatever, right? Like use it. Take another third and save it. Maybe your emergency fund needs to have a little more of a cushion. And then take a third and either invest it into something long term, or you can decide that you want to spend it because everything is like solid in your financial life. So you have some, this could be like icing on the cake money. So
Right.
it's like really dependent. I mean, a lot of people are going to need this money to pay bills. I'm very aware of that. Some people, this will just be extra money. They're looking at investing it because they're just like, hey, I want to get this money growing.
Mm-hmm.
And some money are like, I don't know, last year was hard. I just want to take it and enjoy it like on a trip or something. So I mean, like, be honest with yourself of what's going on in your financial life. And I think we're all adults, and I think it's just about making an informed decision, whatever you want to do with the money, but just know when you make the decision, feel good about it. You know, like, that's the decision you're making. Fine, go do it and enjoy it. Right. So whether you pay down debt, save it, invest it, or spend it, just do it and don't like look back, basically.
Right. So save, invest, spend. What should people not do with it? What should they not? Like, I know
I
you
would,
have in your mind, like, okay, you should not do that with that
yeah.
stimulus money.
Well, like, don't just blow it. Like, if you have no emergency fund, or if you literally are behind on bills or debts, don't just like go and spend it. Like, I think a lot of people, you know, last year was hard. So they have this like almost like extra money came in and like, oh, I got to go and like get some sort of satisfaction in my
Right.
life. Right. But that's going to be so short lived, and really it's not going to serve you. So don't just blow the money on something that you think you need right now.
Right.
And then a second one I've seen a lot of, don't just invest it blindly. Like, just because GameStop went off in February doesn't mean all of a sudden you're like this day trader and like gonna make $1 billion, you know?
Right.
So get a little realistic. Like, if you want to invest $1,400, I'm very supportive of that.
Mm-hmm.
But be smart about what you're investing in. Don't just like try to like turn a quick buck, because a lot of people, not just like with stimulus money, but recently with money in general, like, oh, I'll just put 1,000 in and I'll come out with 10, you know, because that's what the stock market's doing right now. And I'm like, well, if you were one of those people who just happened to get lucky,
Right.
amazing. But the reality is that doesn't happen most of the time. So don't just like, you know, invest blindly in things.
Right. That's really good. That's good. I hear you talk a lot about the emergency fund and having 3 to 6 months of savings put to the side. You know, the old saying, put money away for a rainy day. My mom used to say that. Um, with so many people recovering, Britt, and trying to start over from the pandemic, how is it possible for people who already have so little to begin to build a safety net or an emergency fund? How
Yeah.
can they start that?
I love that you brought this up, because it is a goal that sometimes takes 2 to 3 years to build. You know, if we're talking like you want an emergency fund of 5, 10, $15,000, it's not going to happen overnight. So like, kind of be real. And the whole point is, even if you can only save, let's say $100 per month into some sort of high yield savings, meaning not your checking or savings account, but like a high yield savings account, they're not offering that much rate of return, but a little bit more than, you know, your primary bank.
Right.
And the idea with the high yield savings, it's usually another financial institution. So out of sight, out of mind. You're not like seeing it on the daily when you're looking at your bank account. But set up just an automatic savings, $100 a month, and just set that up. And it might take you, like I said, 2, 3, 5 years to get the level. But the idea is you're building the system.
Right.
And every time you can maybe increase, maybe you get the money's going again, you got your job back, you got a better job. Hey, how can I increase? I'm doing 100 now. Well, if I did 300, I would reach my goal that much sooner. But yeah, I think like an emergency fund isn't, last year, a lot of people saw, oh, why we need the emergency fund, right? So
Oh yeah.
it was a great reminder for everybody. People who had it were like, oh, that's why you preached it all these years. People who
Right.
didn't have it, that's why you preached it all these years. And I think it's a lifelong thing we have, the cash or emergency fund. Even like when you retire, you always want some cash, like easy to get to. That's not investments, not stocks, not real estate, you know, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So It's good. So just be patient and build it and set up the systematic contribution.
Okay, I love that. Britt, when should people hire a professional to help them with their finances, like yourself or your team? You know, a lot of people, I'll go back to, they'll feel like, well, I don't have enough money to be hiring a professional. Let me do what I can do right now. But what is the point in which you say, okay, I'm going to bring somebody in to help me with my finances?
I love this. Actually, it's you're so intuitive. I just made a video about this for my Instagram, so it's going to go up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, anybody who wants to get educated and like wants to commit is a good time to do it. So there's no like magic number. A lot of financial planners work like my model, which is fee only. So as long as you could pay the fee, there's no income minimum requirement, no asset minimum requirement. It's just a fee, like kind of like a coaching program, right?
Right.
What you get, here's the fee. As long as you can pay the fee, we can help you. So even if you have a lot of debt or just starting out, it's still valuable because you're going to learn how to set up all your foundational things and learn what you need to do. So then you'll get motivated to like do the things to get to that level. But there's also financial planners who work on an hourly basis. So, just like a few hours of time, we offer those services too. So a few hours of time can really go a long way. Yes, you have to pay for it, but just think of it like you're investing in your financial future. Like what better way to like jumpstart than go through a few hours, get a certified financial planner to look at everything with you, give you like a solid game plan, and you go implement it.
Right.
But it's very valuable. So I would just say look for CFP designation
Mm.
and then find somebody you trust, you like, and is credentialed and responsive, meaning if you email them, they email you back.
Right.
Call them, they call you back. I mean, it sounds so silly, but a lot of people really settle for these financial professionals who don't respond. And it's so frustrating because there's a lot of other financial planners out there who are really good and want to give you the service and would love to have you as a client, So the CFP board website, cfpboard.net, they have
Mhm.
a search engine. So anyone could search for a financial planner in their area based on the criteria, just do a few interviews, see which one you like the best and go with it.
Right. Is there a one-stop shop for, like, is there a financial planner for a specific area or need that you have? Or is there, you just get the financial planner and they'll work with you throughout all of your needs? How does that work?
Yeah, it would be like more about like if you vibe with their model, if you vibe with their service, then
Gotcha.
they would be able to help you through the life stages you go through.
Hmm.
So yeah, like for example, when I was working with clients, I had clients for like 10, 15 years, so
Hmm.
it was because they vibed with my personality, the way I ran my business. So it was a good fit and we grew together. So it's kind of like finding a doctor. You do want to find a primary doctor who can grow with you and stay involved in modern technology and like
Right.
services, not be like stuck in old school thinking,
Right.
but
Right.
like move with the times to serve you and bring the best to the table.
Because there's so many people like on social media offering these classes, and we really don't know what their background is. So I think that it's important for you to, like you said, to go on that website so we can vet. People can look and see, what are the credentials, what school, what experience do they have? Because so many people, girl, they're making a buck off of people on social media, and they're not good. Or, running scams, on people and just taking their money.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up. It's actually happening because like it happens, everywhere, but like Clubhouse, the new platform, it's happening a lot there where their SEC is starting to do investigation on a handful of accounts now because you're
Wow.
accurate. Like whether it's there or TikTok or Instagram, there's people who will say I'm a financial expert, say cash app me money, which to me, I'm like, why would you ever cash app anyone money? But hey, I mean, it happens. There's vulnerability out there. But yeah, look for credentials, like people.
We have all the credentials here. We have a real full expert.
But
She's
I mean, it's like, you know, this is the hard part. It's like everybody is actually responsible for their own financial life, their own decisions. So
right.
unfortunately, there's bad people out there, scammers, fraud. But like, hopefully, you can learn enough to kind of like, hey, that doesn't sound right, or that seems a little sketchy, and trust it. You know, anytime you feel that, trust it.
Right. That's so good. Female run businesses were heavily affected during the pandemic. Many of them have been trying to pick up the pieces, right? And trying to forge ahead for 2021 and beyond. What are some ways in which entrepreneurs can get their financials on track now and moving forward?
Yeah, I read that recently, that same statistics around women being affected most. Which makes sense because women are caregivers, so they were at home with the kids and such.
Mhm.
So if you're an entrepreneur, I would say you got to take control of your business financial life, just like you have to take control of your personal financial life. So you can't use the excuse, I'm creative or I'm not good with numbers.
Right.
I don't get it. You know, unfortunately, it doesn't work. You just have to start committing to learning, reading books, taking classes, hiring a financial planner, a good CPA. I would say the first thing, if you're new to business finances, is find a good CPA and bookkeeper who can really help you understand how to read your business financial statement. So, the business profit and loss is basically the business budget, right? What money came in, where did it go, and were you profitable? Did you have money left over? Were you able to pay yourself a salary? But it might be overwhelming in the beginning if you've never seen that, but honestly, if you had a good person working with you, you can look at the report monthly and kind of notice, okay, I notice in summer my business doesn't do as well, or this person vendor always pays me late, so maybe I need to either like change my payment terms, or you know, something. You know, you kind of see where the challenges or weaknesses are and course correct. But yeah, really diving into learning your P&L, because no one starts a business to not make money. I
Right.
mean, we all want to be profitable, but the only way to be profitable is if we dive in into really learning, what are the numbers? Am I spending too much on things that aren't serving my business? Maybe they did, but maybe they're not. Like, where is most of my business income coming from? Let me focus there and put more time and attention there. You know, like, it helps you be a better business owner.
That's really good, Britt. Before I let you go, what is your hope as we move forward with women, and I'll just say people in general, with our relationship to money? What is your hope for us as we move forward and how we navigate our space with money?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my hope is that everybody individually just learns they're not alone.
Mhm.
Everybody's like learning money
Ooh,
um, all the time. Even the most successful people still learning every day, but to take ownership of it, really, every person, man, woman, whatever, it's really up to you. Like, no government's going to give it to you. No, even if you have a job, it's like, what else can you do to
right.
take care of yourself, you know? So I think it's more empowering, and you'll get like more out of it that way too. Like, you know, to take ownership, not be a victim, but commit to just learning. And then you'll just be able to hopefully have more fun, you know, like I remind myself all the time, it's not that serious. Like, I
Britt,
I know it can be heavy and serious, especially money, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't go with us. Like, you know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
just do your best, and we're all just trying to do our best every day.
This was so good. So I think this is one of my first interviews where I'm mentally taking notes and I'm like, okay, I have to rewatch this because she said this was so
Good.
educational, informative. Wow, Britt. Okay, tell people where they can follow you to get access to the classes that you have, the money class and the investing class. Tell them again that we talked about at the beginning. Tell them where they can go and get that.
Absolutely. So if you come to financiallywiseinc.com, you'll see the money class there. The investing master class is just a backslash investing dash master dash class. But if you Instagram message me, Brittany Castro, follow me on Instagram and message me for whatever you need. Maybe you want to enroll in class, learn about one-on-one, or you're just like, I just need to like ask this question because like you said, I also just do IG videos. So if you have a particular subject you want to learn, just DM me on Instagram and tell me what you need and want, and I'll redirect you to where to go.
Wow, you are so and like you said, money can be fun. So before you go, I want to play a little rapid fire. Have a little fun because this was serious, girl. I was like, oh Lord, let me get my life together. But you helped me. You helped me. But I do need to get into your classes for sure. The money class. I think I'm gonna sign up for that. Um,
Yeah, I know.
I am okay. Britt, name a female CEO that inspired you.
Oh God, I'm horrible at these questions. I have one in mind, but nobody would know her because she's like a personal off the grid CEO.
Okay.
Her name is Maggie, but I think she's amazing. She's like a feminine powerhouse, takes care of a lot, but she's humble and you would never know like the massive organization she runs.
What would you be doing if you were not founder and CEO financially wise?
Probably dancing, own a dance studio.
What's on your playlist? What would you be dancing to?
Oh, my playlist is really hodgepodge. Actually, my friend was laughing at me because we went on a road trip a few days ago. It went from like classical music to like hardcore rap, like
Ah!
same playlist. And I'm like, get over it. Don't you know me by now? Come on.
No judgment zone. What would people be surprised to know about you, Brittany?
I'm actually really funny.
I definitely could tell that. I
I
could tell
just
that.
started realizing I'm actually quite hilarious.
You are super. You're serious and funny. I think that's a good combo. What's your biggest accomplishment? I'll say of 2020 because we just started 2021.
2020, I think my biggest accomplishment was just like settling into this fact like I'm pretty like badass and I'm like very proud of myself just for the life I've created. Like I have a spiritual path, I have a business, I'm a kind human being, I'm lovely to my family and friends. And that wasn't like I'm bragging. I've worked on myself for a long time. So it was just like nice to kind of like settle into this, like, wow, I've really created a nice life for myself.
You are all of that, girl, in a bag of chips.
Thank
What's the best piece of financial advice you've received?
Always keep your eye on the money.
Money, 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 money. Ideal dinner party guest list.
I always say Warren Buffett. That would be so fun, right? Warren
That's good.
Buffett. Who else would I want to have dinner with? Honestly, probably just my best friends.
I
Like,
want to come too.
yes,
I'll bring the
you,
wine.
yes, we'll do tequila, wine, whatever.
Yes. What brings you joy, Britt?
Oh, so many things. I mean, dancing brings me joy. My spiritual path brings me joy. Um, my family, my friends, my dog, like little things. I mean, honestly, I appreciate a simple life, you know, happy to just wake up and like be alive. Like can't can't like, you know, forget that part.
I love that perspective. Britt, you brought me joy. I know you brought the viewers joy, the listeners. You are so amazing. Thank you for championing women through financial literacy because I feel like we need so much more education. We need so much more of you to help us, to get on track or even just to, forge ahead and continue to be successful in our, careers and in our lives financially. So, Britt, I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad to know you. You're
Thank
stuck with me now. So
I'm so excited. No, normally I'm the stalker in relationships, but we're good.
we are all good. Thank you so much, Britt, for just enlightening us today. This was I feel like I went to therapy class and all the things.
Hey,
So thank you.
actually, thank you. And thank you for doing what you do. You're a joy to be with. You have such good energy. So I'm excited to be stuck with you.
You're stuck. Thank you, Britt.